What if the richest man in the world isn't chasing wealth at all? What if he's after something bigger? Every time Elon Musk makes a move, stocks swing, headlines explode, and people panic or profit. It's not just hype, it's power. And power plays follow rules that most people never learn. This video is going to break down those rules, one by one. You'll see how Musk uses capital like chess pieces, how he turns wild ideas into billion-dollar assets, and how you can adopt his mindset even without a single investor. This is not about worshiping Musk. It's about understanding the playbook and using it for your own climb. You're watching The Passive Path. Let's start with the illusion. Elon Musk didn't just become a business tycoon. He became a myth, a walking headline, a symbol of futuristic ambition. People call him the real-life Iron Man. There are action figures of Iron Man in kids' bedrooms. There are memes comparing Musk to Tony Stark. There's admiration, envy, and confusion, all in one. And here's the key. That illusion is part of the strategy. Because perception is capital. The more people believe in you, the more they'll bet on you. When the media compares Musk to a superhero, investors feel safer. When Musk sleeps in a tiny room and sells his homes, people see purpose. They project vision onto him, even when he's making financial plays. It's not accidental. It's positioning. And personal brand is the lever. Think about it. When a small-time investor tweets about Bitcoin, nobody cares. When Elon Musk tweets, markets swing, that's not business. That's narrative power. It's the difference between pushing a product and pulling a movement. This is the first lesson. Control the story before you control the asset. Musk understood this early. He didn't just want to build companies. He wanted to build a character, a public image that unlocks private doors. People don't invest in spreadsheets. They invest in belief. So Musk turned himself into a symbol of progress, a man too big to ignore. And once you're a symbol, everything you touch gets inflated value. Tesla isn't just a car company. It's a tech revolution. SpaceX isn't just rockets. It's humanity's future. The product is wrapped in identity, wrapped in myth, and that myth is worth billions. Ask yourself this. If Musk started a lemonade stand tomorrow, how much money would flow into it? Exactly. That's the leverage of perception. You might not be a celebrity, but you can build credibility in your niche. You can own your message. You can become the person people associate with a specific kind of value. And once you do, your influence multiplies. This is how capital starts chasing you. Musk doesn't run after money. He attracts it by being unforgettable, by being clear about who he is, and by being loud enough that even his enemies promote him. Perception is the first gate to wealth. If no one believes in you, no one will invest in you. And if everyone believes in you, you want a euro polt, even need to ask. Brand is the shortcut to leverage. The more people believe in the symbol, the less they question the numbers. You owe poultry not buying Tesla stock. You owe poultry buying the Iron Man dream. Elon Musk didn't start with rockets or electric cars. He started with a map of how capital moves, and he played his first pieces fast. In his 20s, he co-founded a company called Zip2. It was a simple internet guide for newspapers. He sold it for over $300 million. But that wasn't the impressive part. The impressive part was what he did next. He didn't hold on. He didn't get sentimental. He cashed out and moved on. No attachment, no looking back. This is one of the biggest mental shifts you can make. Wealth isn't built by holding on to everything. It's built by knowing when to exit. The first win is about liquidity, not loyalty. Musk took the money and poured it into X.com, an online banking company that would later become PayPal. He wasn't chasing a paycheck. He was chasing leverage, ownership in a system that moves money. That's where the real power lives. Most people think building wealth is about earning more, but Musk knew something else. It's about positioning. He didn't try to build a better product. He tried to build something that replaced the middleman. He didn't want to serve the system. He wanted to reshape it. And when X.com merged into PayPal, things got messy. Musk was pushed out as CEO. He lost control, but he didn't lose ownership, and that's what mattered. He held enough shares to win big when PayPal was sold to eBay. He didn't need to be in the meetings. He just needed to be in the deal. This is the second lesson. Don't chase titles, chase equity. If you're not getting equity, you're renting your time, but if you own a piece of something valuable, you win even when you're silent. Control is useful, ownership is power. After the PayPal sale, Musk walked away with hundreds of millions, but instead of retiring, he shifted gears. He wasn't thinking like a founder anymore, he was thinking like capital. What would you do with that kind of money? Buy homes? Take long vacations? Musk sold his homes and started buying problems, big ones. He invested in energy, in transportation, in space. He wasn't playing defense. He was playing offense with capital. Most people try to protect their money. Musk used his to reshape industries. You can't do that if you're scared to lose. He wasn't chasing comfort, he was chasing impact. And here's the twist. It wasn't just ambition, it was strategy. Because once you control the problem, you control the future. If energy is broken, fix it. If transportation is slow, rewire it. If government needs rockets, be the one who supplies them. Every move was about building monopoly power. Control the choke point, and the market follows you. Musk knew this, and he started stacking influence across different sectors. Not to impress, to lock in long-term leverage. He stopped thinking like a startup founder and started thinking like a system architect. If you want to grow your wealth, think about this. Are you trying to earn, or are you trying to control? Do you want to raise, or do you want royalties? Are you holding on to a safe job, or building something others will need? Short-term income is fine, but long-term ownership changes everything. If you want to be wealthy, learn to exit early and re-enter smarter. If you want to build something bigger, focus on assets, not applause. Capital doesn't follow noise, it follows structure. And if you study Musk's early years, the blueprint is clear. Start something valuable. Exit when the timing is right. Reinvest into a bigger playground, and never chase security. Chase scale? After PayPal, Elon Musk didn't slow down. He accelerated. He started moving like an investor with a mission. His capital became his chessboard, and he wasn't just looking for good returns. He was looking for control points. The next move was X.com, evolving into PayPal, but the bigger leap came after the exit. Musk launched SpaceX, not because he loved rockets, but because he saw the bottleneck. Governments control space, but governments move slow. Musk bet that he could move faster, cheaper, smarter, and once he proved it, he'd become the gatekeeper. That's what happened. When NASA needed to launch supplies, they had to go through SpaceX. Musk wasn't asking for permission. He was replacing the old system. This is how capital wins, not by copying, but by identifying what's broken and becoming the fix. He did the same thing with Tesla. But here's what most people don't know. Musk didn't start Tesla. It was founded by two engineers. They had the tech, they had the patents, but they didn't have the capital. That's where Musk came in. He invested $6.5 million, became chairman, took control, and eventually took full ownership. This is a textbook example of how investors take over companies. Capital gives direction, not just fuel, and when that capital is backed by a strong brand, it becomes irresistible. Musk didn't just take over a company, he turned it into a symbol. Electric cars weren't cool. Tesla made them cool by attaching a bigger story, a cleaner future, a smarter world, a lifestyle brand disguised as a car, and the market responded. Tesla stock didn't rise because of car features. It rose because people believed in the story, because Musk was the storyteller, and people trust stories more than specs. This is how the game works. You build a narrative strong enough to move markets, and then you back it with just enough execution to keep the belief alive. Tesla could have failed in its early years. It almost did, but belief held it up. Because belief attracts more money than spreadsheets ever could. That belief is monetized through brand equity, and brand equity is often more powerful than cash. That's why companies pay millions for celebrity endorsements. That's why people pay more for products with a logo. You're not buying quality, you're buying story. Tesla isn't just a car company, it's a story about the future. And Musk controls that story, which means he controls how people value the company, and that value becomes leverage. Leverage to raise more capital, leverage to expand, leverage to make the next move. Ask yourself this: what story are you telling? Are people buying what you offer, or are they buying what they believe about you? Most businesses don't fail because the product is bad. They fail because no one cares, no one connects, no one sees the bigger picture. That's the difference between a commodity and a brand. Commodities compete on price, brands compete on belief. Musk doesn't compete. He leads. By crafting a future so bold that others feel left behind if they don't join, and once they join, they fund the next stage. That's the cycle. That's the power of narrative-driven capital. And that's how you scale beyond logic. Elon Musk didn't just build Tesla and SpaceX. He built a belief system, and that belief became his capital. Every time he pitched a new idea, the money followed. Not because the idea was safe, but because it was bold. In 2013, he talked about a super high-speed train, faster than a plane, from New York to Taipei in 2 hours. Just a concept, just some slides. But investors poured in $500 million. No prototype, no working system, just the Musk effect. Then in 2014, he pitched self-driving cars, so advanced you could sleep while the car drove itself. No working model, but enough to raise another round of money. This is the formula. Take a wild idea, tie it to a clear future, attach your brand, let belief do the rest. It's not just business, it's stagecraft. And Musk mastered it. He doesn't pitch features, he pitches destiny. He creates a feeling of urgency, like if you don't invest now, you'll miss the next industrial revolution. It works, because humans don't invest in logic. They invest in hope, in fear of missing out, in stories that make them feel part of something bigger. Musk gave them that, not once, not twice, but over and over. He pitched going to Mars, not just for exploration, but as a survival plan. Earth is fragile. Mars is the backup. Who can argue with that? Then he layered the whole thing. To get to Mars, you need rockets. SpaceX does that. Once you land, you need energy. Solar City provides it. You'll need transportation. Tesla handles that. You'll need infrastructure. The Boring Company builds tunnels. You'll need communication. Starlink provides internet. You'll need human-machine integration. Neuralink builds the interface. It's all connected. A full-stack future, controlled by one vision. And that vision attracts billions, because every piece supports the others. This isn't random. It's a web of influence, and every strand is built on belief. When you look at Musk's portfolio, you're not seeing separate companies. You're seeing an ecosystem. Each part feeds into the next, and together they create a narrative too big to ignore. That narrative raises capital. That capital buys more control, and that control builds more belief. It's a loop, a growth engine fueled by vision and velocity. Most people pitch products, Musk pitches futures, and in doing so, he unlocked something rare. He became the face of possibility. Investors do not just fund his companies, they fund his confidence. They're not betting on spreadsheets, they're betting on scale. And that kind of scale can't be achieved by playing safe. You have to go big. You have to make promises the world isn't ready for, and then build fast enough to stay ahead of the doubt. That's how Musk wins. By staying just far enough ahead of failure that no one dares to look away. And every time he survives the next big risk, his legend grows, and with it, the money. Now comes the part most people didn't understand. The Twitter acquisition. Elon Musk spent over $40 billion on a platform losing money. People called him reckless, said it was an emotional move, but they missed the point. Musk wasn't buying a company, he was buying influence. Twitter isn't just a social media site, it's a global microphone, where politicians argue, where markets react, where narratives are born. Control that space and you shape the conversation. That's why the price didn't matter. Musk didn't care about Twitter's earnings report. He cared about its attention flow, and attention is the highest currency. If you can redirect attention, you can redirect capital. He knew it, so he acted fast. He started by criticizing Twitter, claimed it violated free speech. That alone pushed the stock price down. Then he offered to buy it at a premium. From the outside, it looked noble, protecting speech. From the inside, it was strategy. Musk knew if he let others shape the narrative, he would always play defense. Now he owns the platform where the narrative starts, and that gives him the upper hand. Every word he posts travels faster, louder, wider. He doesn't need press releases. He tweets, and the market reacts. That level of access isn't about social media. It's about distribution. It's about bypassing gatekeepers. It's about owning the pipeline between thought and impact. And when you own the pipeline, you don't need permission. That's power. Think about your own reach. Who listens when you speak? Where do your ideas travel? Who shapes the stories people hear about you? Most people are invisible because they rely on borrowed platforms. Musk bought the platform. He didn't rent attention. He bought the source. This is what separates the truly wealthy. They don't compete inside systems. They buy the system and reshape it. So now when Musk tweets about Tesla or SpaceX or crypto, the message doesn't get filtered. It lands instantly, and it moves markets. This isn't about free speech. It's about strategic distribution, and he paid for it. Because when you're building an empire, media isn't optional. It's essential. Control the channel. Control the outcome. That's the lesson. Elon Musk didn't stop at buying influence. He timed it perfectly. Right before the financial world started shaking, he sold Tesla stock. Not because he lost faith, but because he needed liquidity to make his next move while everyone else stood still. It wasn't random. It was calculated, just like other billionaires have done before. Bill Gates stepped down from Microsoft 2 months before the dot-com crash. He fully retired from the board months before the 2020 market chaos. Warren Buffett quietly moved billions into cash before the 2008 crash and again before the pandemic crash in 2020. These moves aren't guesses. They're signals. When the most informed players shift to cash, they're not being cautious. They're preparing, because cash is power when prices fall, and Musk did the same. He sold stock, got liquid, and bought a distressed but powerful asset, Twitter. While others worried about tech layoffs, he built leverage. This is the lesson. Watch what billionaires do before the headlines. They often exit before the storm, not with fear, but with clarity. When markets fall, they don't panic. They buy. Because crashes transfer assets from the emotional to the prepared. If you're holding cash when prices drop, you don't get hurt, you get rich. That's how the cycle works, and Musk knows the cycle. Sell when the market is greedy. Buy when it's scared. Hold assets that build influence. Sell assets that limit flexibility. When Tesla's stock dropped after he sold, people blamed him. But the truth is, he was already 10 moves ahead. If other institutions had kept buying, the stock wouldn't have dropped. But they didn't, because everyone saw what was coming. And those who didn't, they reacted too late. Musk didn't sell because Tesla was weak. He sold because timing matters more than loyalty. If a storm is coming, you don't argue with the weather. You move your boat. That's what he did. And now with Twitter in hand, he controls something no one else does. The flow of narrative. While others are distracted by quarterly earnings, he's shaping long-term position. And every time he posts, the game moves. Not because of the words, but because of the position he holds. This is what wealth does. It doesn't react. It anticipates. It doesn't follow trends. It sets them. And the people who watch closely, they catch the wave before it crashes. That's how fortunes are made in silence. By copying the moves, not the noise. Musk's actions aren't emotional. They're strategic. Every sale, every tweet, every project, part of a larger sequence. He isn't just playing the stock market, he's playing the system. That's why he doesn't hold cash forever. He holds it just long enough to redeploy into assets others underestimate, into sectors others ignore, into ideas that sound impossible until they're not. And that's what sets him apart. He doesn't chase approval, he chases leverage. While most investors focus on what's popular, Musk builds what's essential: energy, transport, internet, infrastructure. He doesn't build apps, he builds arteries, systems that societies depend on. That's why governments can't ignore him. They need him. NASA needs SpaceX. Cities want his tunnels. Countries want Starlink. Musk positioned himself as a necessary partner, not a competitor. That gives him protection and freedom. It's hard to regulate someone you depend on. That's not just business. That's power. He didn't get there by being polite. He got there by being early, by being bold, by investing in ideas too big for the average player, and then pushing until those ideas became industries. That's how new wealth is made, by going where others won't, and staying long enough to dominate. If you want to build real wealth, pay attention to where things are going, not where they've been. Follow infrastructure. Follow attention. Follow the exits of the wealthy. They always sell before a fall, and they always re-enter when prices are lowest, not with fear, with focus. Musk knows that capital is a cycle. First you earn, then you own, then you influence, and finally you control. He's already in the final phase. He influences markets, he controls narratives, and he does it through systems, not noise. The passive path is about learning from moves like these, not just to admire, but to apply, because you don't need billions to think this way. You just need to see the game, and then step into it. Elon Musk didn't become the richest man on earth by following trends. He built trends. He didn't wait for permission. He created new rules, and he didn't rely on luck. He moved with clarity, risk, and precision. You may not have billions to play with, but you can learn how the game works and start making smarter moves right now. Follow capital, build belief, take calculated risks, and think long-term, just like the greats. If this video helps shift your thinking, like it. Subscribe to The Passive Path to keep learning how wealth really works. Drop a comment with your biggest takeaway, and share this video with someone you care about, someone who's ready to level up. Good luck on your journey. Feel free to check out other videos on The Passive Path, and see you in the next one. Musk's influence isn't just global, it's personal. He knows how to make people feel like they're part of something bigger. That's how he raises billions without delivering a finished product. He sells a future, and people line up to fund it. This isn't manipulation, it's vision combined with positioning. He never claims certainty, he offers possibility. And in a world full of noise, that stands out. While others beg for attention, Musk commands it, because he's aligned his name with innovation, risk, and ambition. It didn't happen overnight. He built it one bold move at a time. He risked everything for companies on the edge of collapse. And when they survived, so did his reputation. Every near failure added to the myth. And the myth fuels more opportunity. That's why he's more than a CEO. He's a symbol, a brand, a force. And the richer that brand becomes, the easier it is to raise money, sell products, and shift markets. He's not playing the same game as most entrepreneurs. He's architecting systems of belief. Each company becomes a chapter in a larger story, and that story continues to grow. It grows because Musk doesn't fear backlash. He welcomes it. Every controversy becomes fuel. Every pushback becomes proof he's challenging the status quo. He doesn't chase comfort, he chases gravity, and people follow gravity. This is how movements are built, not by asking nicely, but by standing so firmly in your vision that people feel drawn in or left out. You can't replicate Musk's path exactly, but you can learn the pattern, have a clear mission. Back it with consistent action. Use capital strategically. Build a brand that means something. And when people pay attention, don't waste it. Use it to move the next piece. That's how wealth scales. Not just with products, but with positioning, patience, and power. If you want to play the game at a higher level, don't just study companies. Study characters. Because in this economy, identity drives everything. The product changes, the pitch changes, but the person behind it, the symbol, keeps drawing the crowd. The founder just is the real asset.